This Toyota is literally 4 decades old, has crossed over 500,000 miles on its original odometer, and is still running like a brand new machine straight off the assembly line. While modern, tech-bloated $70,000 crossovers start throwing dashboard warning lights, burning oil, and blowing head gaskets before their first lease even ends, these older Japanese anvils just keep ticking. You can submerge them in an ocean tide, hit them with a demolition wrecking ball, or skip oil changes for a year, and they will still fire up on the very first turn of the key. In fact, back in the early 2000s, the producers of Top Gear famously bought an old 1988 Toyota Hilux pickup with nearly 200,000 miles on the clock just to see what it would take to kill it. They crashed it into brick walls, parked it on a beach to let the ocean tide completely submerge it for hours, set the cabin on fire, dropped a trailer on its roof, and finally hoisted it to the top of a 23-story building that was detonated into a pile of rubble. After every single disaster, a mechanic pulled out a basic set of hand tools, spent 20 minutes tightening bolts and clearing water, and the truck started right back up and drove away under its own power. Then there's the famous 1996 Lexus LS400, owned by automotive journalist Matt Farah. Powered by Toyota's legendary 1UZ-FE V8 engine, that luxury sedan crossed 1 million miles on its original unopened engine block. This level of immortality isn't a fluke, and it certainly isn't magic. Toyota didn't become the global king of reliability by trying to build the fastest, sleekest, or most technologically complex cars on the road. They did it by treating automotive engineering as a ruthless exercise in absolute risk reduction and structural over-engineering. Today, we are breaking down the exact engineering choices, metallurgical secrets, and relentless corporate philosophies that made classic Toyotas the absolute immortal kings of reliability. The Understressed engine blueprint. The main reason classic Toyotas last forever comes down to basic physics: low thermal stress and low mechanical compression. Modern car companies squeeze 300 horsepower out of tiny, high-strung, 1.5-liter turbocharged engines. They run high boost pressures and extreme combustion heat, which bakes engine gaskets, stretches head bolts, and wears down internal bearings. Classic Toyotas did the exact opposite. Take the famous 22R 2.4-liter four-cylinder found in 1980s pickups, or the massive 1HZ 4.2-liter inline-six diesel used in global Land Cruisers. The Flaw correction rule, the 22R timing chain versus the 3VZE head gasket lesson. To understand why old Toyotas refused to die, you have to examine how Toyota responded when their engineering wasn't perfect. In the mid-1980s, when Toyota switched the 22R engine's timing chain guides from heavy metal backing to lightweight plastic, those plastic guides eventually broke around 100,000 miles. The chain would slap against the aluminum timing cover, wearing a hole into the water passage and mixing coolant into the oil. Then came the late 80s 3.0-liter 3VZ EV6, infamously nicknamed the 3-point slow. Its rear crossover exhaust pipe trapped extreme heat directly against the back of the cylinder heads, leading to widespread head gasket failures. In typical automotive corporate culture, a flaw like that is swept under the rug until the warranty expires. But Toyota treated design failures like personal dishonor. They launched massive special service campaigns to replace head gaskets on the 3VZE for free, even on high-mileage, out-of-warranty trucks. More importantly, they never made the same mistake twice. When Toyota designed the replacement for the 3VZE, the iconic 3.4-liter 5VZF EV6, they completely redesigned the exhaust geometry, widened the cooling channels, and overbuilt the cylinder head gaskets. The result? The 5VZFE became one of the most reliable V6 engines ever produced, routinely crossing 400,000 miles without a single hiccup. Toyota used their own mistakes as fuel to make their next generation of vehicles completely bulletproof. These engines were gigantic relative to the small amount of horsepower they produced. The 4.2-liter 1HZ diesel, for instance, produced a modest 129 horsepower. Because the engine was never forced to operate anywhere near its physical limits, its internal pistons, connecting rods, and crankshafts experienced almost zero material fatigue. You could drive one at full throttle across a hot desert for 6 hours straight, and the engine internals would barely feel the strain. Even when Toyota built high-performance engines like the Quad-Cam 1UZ-FE 4.0-liter V8 in the original Lexus LS400, they over-engineered the bottom end. The 1UZ used heavy-duty 6-bolt main crankshaft bearings and thick forged connecting rods that were strong enough to support twin turbochargers right out of the factory. By keeping that engine naturally aspirated, Toyota ensured the internal components would easily pass 1,000,000 miles without failing. The 25-year commercial duty mandate. When Toyota engineered flagship platforms like the Land Cruiser or the Hilux, they didn't design them for a typical 5-year lease. Their internal benchmark was a 25-year service life in third-world environments under zero-maintenance conditions. Toyota knew these trucks would be deployed to remote mining operations in Australia, humanitarian fleets in Africa, and active war zones in the Middle East. In those places, mechanics work with basic hand tools, replacement parts are scarce, and fuel quality is inconsistent. So Toyota used heavy cast-iron engine blocks, oversized cooling jackets, and simple single overhead cam or pushrod valve trains. They avoided fragile electronic sensors, variable timing solenoids, and plastic intake manifolds. They built an industrial tool designed for survival. Kaizen and stop-the-line quality control. The secret to Toyota's manufacturing wasn't just what they built, but how they built it. It was powered by 2 core principles: Kaizen, continuous improvement, and Jidoka, empowering workers to stop production to fix a flaw. In standard car factories, if a worker noticed a misaligned bolt or a weak seal, the assembly line kept moving anyway to meet production quotas, leaving the defect to be fixed later, or missed entirely. In a Toyota factory, every single assembly worker had access to a physical cord called the andon cord. If a worker spotted a minor defect, a bolt that didn't torque down right, or a gasket that sat unevenly, they pulled the cord. The entire factory line stopped instantly. Engineers would gather around the workstation, find out why the part failed, and fix the root cause before another car was built. Toyota also refused to overhaul their engine designs every 4 years just for marketing buzz. While competitors rushed out completely new, untested engines, which brought whole new batches of mechanical defects, Toyota kept core engine blocks in production for 15 to 20 years. Decade after decade, they refined the microflaws out of those engines until they were statistically almost incapable of failing. Simple electrical and analog mechanical systems. The final pillar of classic Toyota longevity is their total war on electronic complexity. Modern cars rely on complex computer networks, electronic throttle bodies, and fragile sensor arrays. If a single wheel speed sensor corrodes or a module loses software communication, the entire vehicle can lock itself into limp mode, leaving you stranded. Classic Toyotas used simple analog mechanical systems, fully mechanical fuel injection pumps that ran without needing computer power, physical, cable-actuated throttles connecting your foot directly to the engine intake, gear-driven transfer cases locked into four-wheel drive using a manual lever. If the alternator died and the battery ran completely flat on a 1HZ diesel Land Cruiser, the mechanical fuel pump would keep feeding diesel to the cylinders. The engine didn't need electricity to run. You could drive it across a desert with a dead battery and 0 functional gauges, and it would keep going. While Toyota applied its bulletproof engineering logic across its entire lineup, 3 specific vehicles became global legends for putting these durability rules into real-world action. The agricultural weapon, the Hilux or pickup, 22R engine. Before it became a global icon, the classic Toyota Hilux, known simply as the Toyota pickup in North America, was built as a humble farm and commercial utility vehicle. Powered by the simple, low-compression, 2.4-liter 22R 4-cylinder engine, this lightweight truck featured a heavy-duty box section frame, leaf-sprung solid axles, and an engine bay with so much open space you could stand inside it to work on the carburetor. Because it lacked complex electronics or fragile body panels, it became the default vehicle for remote construction crews, agricultural workers, and international aid agencies. It proved that a small, light, mechanically simple truck could handle decades of physical punishment while needing nothing more than basic hand tool maintenance to keep running indefinitely. The 6 Sigma luxury barge, the Lexus LS400 V8. In the late 1980s, Toyota set out to build a flagship luxury sedan that would completely embarrass the established European luxury brands on build quality and long-term durability. The result was the Lexus LS400, driven by the quad-cam 4.0-liter 1UZF EV8. Toyota spent over $1 billion in development, building hundreds of engine prototypes and testing them to extreme tolerances. The internal components were over-engineered to such a degree that the 1UZFE engine block was actually granted FAA certification for use in light aircraft, a distinction almost no other road car engine has ever achieved. This extreme engineering is how cars like Matt Farah's famous 1996 LS400 were able to pass 1 million miles on their original unopened engine blocks while still maintaining a quiet, vibration-free cabin. The over-engineered 4-cylinder, the 2.7-liter 3RZFE. While the 22R gets all the classic glory, Toyota built another four-cylinder monster in the late 1990s that most people completely overlook, the 2.7-liter 3RZFE. Engineered for 4Runners, Tacomas, and global Hilux workhorses, the 3RZFE featured a cast-iron block, twin balance shafts, and a heavy-duty forged steel crankshaft with 8 counterweights. Toyota tuned this engine from the factory to produce a modest 150 horsepower, but because the internal crankshaft, bearing journals, and connecting rods were forged to commercial industrial standards, the engine was physically capable of handling nearly triple its factory power output without braking. Owners in Australia and South Africa regularly slap aftermarket turbochargers onto completely stock 250,000-mile 3RZ engines without opening the bottom end. It is an engine that was intentionally built to take a beating and ask for more. The Turbo Diesel King, the 4.2-liter 1HDFTE inline 6. If you travel to the Australian outback, the African savanna, or the South American Andes, you will quickly learn that one engine holds the crown for ultimate global survival, the 4.2-liter 1HDFTE direct-injection turbo diesel. Found in the 100 series Land Cruiser, this 24-valve inline-6 features a massive cast-iron block and an overbuilt cooling system designed to drag heavy loads across trackless wilderness in 110-degree desert heat. Unlike modern clean diesel engines that rely on fragile urea injection systems, complex diesel particulate filters, DPFs, and tight sensor loops that fail at the first sign of dirty fuel, the 1HDFTE was engineered to burn low-grade, contaminated diesel fuel without clogging its injectors. It produces massive tractor-like torque right above idle speed, allowing a 2.5-ton Land Cruiser to climb sheer rock faces or pull fully loaded supply wagons through riverbed mud. In the remote corners of the earth where help is a helicopter ride away, the 1HDFTE isn't just an engine, it's a survival tool. The solid axle global tank, Land Cruiser 70 and 80 series. If the Hilux was the ultimate work truck, the 70 and 80 series Land Cruisers were the ultimate heavy-duty long-distance tanks. Built with massive full-floating solid live axles, thick frame rails, and unkillable engines like the naturally aspirated 1HZ diesel or the heavy-duty 4.5-liter 1FZ-FE inline 6, these platforms were designed specifically to traverse uncharted terrain. They featured overbuilt transfer cases, heavy-duty mechanical locking differentials, and high-capacity cooling systems designed to prevent overheating while crawling through deep mud or towing heavy loads through blistering desert heat. They established a global reputation as the only vehicles you could trust when failure meant being stranded thousands of miles from help. The modern contrast. Old Toyotas refused to die because they were built in a golden era of automotive engineering, a time when structural over-engineering, mechanical simplicity, and manufacturing perfection took total priority over planned obsolescence, fragile digital screens, and high-strung turbochargers. When you buy a classic Toyota, you aren't paying for modern luxury gimmicks or blinding dashboard displays. You are investing in physical metal thickness, low mechanical stress, and a manufacturing process that treated component failure as an unacceptable failure of pride. Buying or restoring a clean, classic Toyota isn't just a nostalgic choice. It is a smart, calculated move to protect your money from modern car payments and fragile engineering. They represent a time when cars were built to be driven, repaired, and kept forever. At the end of the day, an old Toyota isn't just a car, it's a mechanical life insurance policy. They prove that when you build an engine with low stress, over-engineered parts, and simple mechanical controls, it will outlast the very road it drives on. If you could drive any classic Toyota platform for the rest of your life, which one are you picking? Are you taking the unkillable Hilux, the million-mile LS400, or a solid axle Land Cruiser? Drop your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let's fight it out. Hit that subscribe button to keep your capital safe from modern automotive traps. Stay savvy, and I'll see you in the next one.